Welcome back, brokers, to this month's edition of Inside the Five. We are so fortunate to have let me start again.
Blooper reel one.
Let's try this one more time. Welcome back, brokers, to this month's edition of Inside the Five. Today, we are so lucky to get on Laura Crowther's schedule. She is our CEO at the Coastal Carolinas Association of Realtors. And I asked her to come on here to give us a breakdown of what happened at the Realtor Legislative Meetings a couple weeks ago. She was able to attend. Unfortunately, this is the second time in maybe 10 years that I haven't been able to go. And it was so sad because I do enjoy those meetings. It's really great to be able to get in the room and really get a download on what's going on advocacy wise. So Laura, can you share with us just a couple key takeaways from the RLM meetings? And for you, what does advocacy mean to you as a CEO of a Realtor Association? Why is it important for brokers and their agents to really key into what's going on legislatively?
Well, thank you, Brie, for the invitation to be here today. I'll start with that question. What does advocacy mean to me, and why is it important as an organization? And I'll just say simply, we are the voice for real estate. We have a consolidated voice when we go to the state capitol, when we go to the Hill in DC, speaking on all issues that involve housing and home ownership, property rights. We're advocating not only for realtors, but we're advocating for homeowners, for property owners. So it is incredibly important. Every single elected official looks to us for guidance on all things related to real estate. So they're not the experts, we are, and that's why making sure that we have a presence, we have a voice, and we can support pro-property rights elected officials. That's really why we are so involved in advocacy.
Yeah, and I think that what gets lost in translation a lot is RPAC dollars. So RPAC dollars aren't dedicated to one person or another. They're dedicated to the realtor party. So when we go through screening of candidates, and especially locally, that's where it's very big for us to be involved. We're looking at the candidates that are supporting realtor right or homeownership at the end of the day, right? So homeownership rights, making sure that there's not extra fees going into building, or we just had that impact fee legislation that was out there that we fought really hard against, and we were able to get some wins out of. And where I think a broker and agent's biggest value out of what we do as an association is boots on the ground locally. Madison, who's our government affairs director, she goes to, I don't even want to say that poor girl schedule, how many meetings on behalf of us to figure out what's going on.
Absolutely. She attends both counties' meetings and all of the municipalities. And that's a lot. That's a lot of meetings. But what we do is we monitor issues as they are evolving, not when they make it to the agenda, when they're in committee, when they're thinking about making some ordinance changes. That's where we actually come into play quite early, because many times we avoid issues that are being discussed because we're part of the process very early, or we can help mold or shape the process based on the research and the information that we have. So that's critical part. And the beautiful part about advocacy is many people don't see those wins because they happen before, all of that takes place before anything happens, good or bad. So it's sometimes it's a little more difficult to explain to folks why it's so important, because they don't see anything. And I think sometimes it's the things that you don't see is how advocacy really works.
Yeah. And, being involved in leadership as many years as I have, I've gotten to see kind of how they make the sausage, right? And the important part that the association and our legislative committee and those folks that are dedicated what are those FPCs that are dedicated to our members that can really communicate what's going on in our viewpoint, that makes a huge difference. And there's a lot of things, like you said, that go on behind the scenes that we are helping make sure don't happen simply by being involved and having a seat at the table. So I can't thank you enough from our industry's standpoint and our members' standpoint for the work that Madison does, for the work that you do in building those relationships. And we were chatting earlier about one of the member benefits that brokers can really access, which is having Madison come to their office. Can you tell us a little bit about what brokers can do if they want Madison to come and visit their office and speak to their agents?
Absolutely. Just reach out to Madison directly and ask her to come and speak for a sales meeting, or just any type of informative session that you have. She can give you the lowdown on all things that are going on related to housing, particularly in Horry and Georgetown County and beyond. Madison has a depth of knowledge that is uncanny, and she keeps her fingers on the pulse of everything that's going on. She can even speak very, very thoroughly about issues that are happening in Washington, D.C. Specifically, the legislation that passed the Senate just past week, the 21st Century Road to Housing Act, which is bipartisan legislation. Our own Senator Tim Scott partnered with Senator Warren, and they were able to usher some legislation through the Senate. Now it's going to go to the House and hopefully pass, which will provide some much needed resources to make grants available to communities that need actual workforce housing. There's such a shortage of housing in this country that folks like our kids and grandchildren are really going to struggle trying to get into their first home because of the affordability issue. And I think this is just one small step in making the future of housing much better for generations to come.
Yeah, and it's those relationships. Like Senator Scott has been a huge realtor advocate for a long time and has worked with us on many, many issues. And we're so fortunate to have him as a representative for the state of South Carolina. And it's like that, like building those relationships. I got the pleasure of meeting, or had the pleasure of meeting with him when I was in leadership, both at the state level and the local level. And it's just wonderful to build that relationship. If you go to Washington, you have somebody that not know, but you've spent time with. And so it's just fun to have kind of that connection to what's happening legislatively and have that ability to have real conversations.
It really is. And RPAC isn't built in a day, or the advocacy program isn't built in a day. You build the relationships, and you have those for when you need to call on the elected officials for any special favors or things that are pertinent to your industry.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, switching gears here the last couple minutes, we have a big event coming up for our broker members, and we would love for you guys to join us. So Laura, as forward thinking as she is, was able to, we were working on a broker event, something that we could do to bring our brokers together to make sure it's valuable information for you. And we are putting on this Regional Carolinas Broker Summit with several of our fellow associations. And we just want to put that reminder out there again. If you haven't registered, please sign up. It's going to be an awesome day of information. The morning, we've got Sherry Chris, who is the NAR advisor for brokerages, with us, and she's going to be telling us about what NAR has been doing on behalf of brokers and really building up the resources that brokers need, whether it be small brokers or large brokers or medium-sized brokers. They've put a lot of information out there that we can utilize and implement into our brokerage operations. And then in the afternoon, it's all about how to use AI responsibly in your business and to help you kind of streamline operations. So Laura, if you could tell brokers anything about our upcoming event, what are you most excited about and what would you encourage them to do?
Well, of course, I'm very excited about Sherry joining us. It's a rare opportunity that we are able to have her in our area to share about what's going on nationwide. But I'm also really excited about the Confessions of a Broker panel. We've invited brokers from around the state to participate and talk about the challenges they see in their brokerages. And we're going to have a variety of people, large and small brokerages represented. So you can kind of hear from your colleagues things that maybe they have been able to navigate through that might be of assistance to you. And then without doubt, just the AI piece and the practical applications of how brokerages can implement this technology to streamline workflows and help profitability. I think that is going to be huge.
Yeah, I'm excited too. We've got a lot of great speakers. We've got some amazing tech speakers that are going to be on our strategic vendor panel as well. That's going to be talking about programs and systems and services that you guys can implement into your brokerages. I'm just really excited. We've got Account Tech, RPR, Realtor.com, Lone Wolf, BrokerBot, RoomView. All of them are going to be there to explain to brokerage owners and brokers in charge how you can implement them into your business to really, like Laura said, streamline operations. And it's going to be a great day, and I'm really excited. And for those of you that missed out, our AI workshops on the second day are already sold out. So I mean, those went the fastest. I mean, we've got 60 brokers, right? Yep, 60 brokers that'll be in a room creating AI products that they can then take back and implement into their business. So we're excited to bring this to you guys. So thank you, Laura, for spending a few minutes with us on this Inside the Five for this month, and we will see you soon.